FlamesNation Citizens, we're back. So let's play for a minute.
Just so I get embarrassed further.
Such a goddamn tease. Welcome back inside the FlamesNation studio, live from Marda Loop. I shouldn't say live. This is not live.
Live for us.
Live for us. Michela is in Vancouver. So
I'm not Michela.
we have a very special guest host tonight. You can hear his sultry voice right now in the back of this track. This is Mitch Belot of the Mitch Belot Band and one of my best friends. Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Lyle. Thanks for having me.
Wind is always blowing, Amanda.
I'm not singing.
Check him out at Mitch Belot Band.
It's just Mitch Belot.
Just Mitch Belot. Yeah, sweet.
But Mitch Belot Band on all social medias.
I guarantee, unless you've been living under a rock in this city, you've heard this guy perform somewhere. He's everywhere. And he's with us today. Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks for having me. This is really fun. And I hope I live up to... I don't know if there are any expectations.
There are no expectations.
Yeah. But I live up to Michela's good job that she used to do.
So we talked. Michela was on holidays a couple weeks ago in Edmonton, and this time she's seeing Beyoncé. Oh, the single ladies. Oh, the single ladies.
Yeah.
That's Beyonce, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank God. She's in Vancouver watching Beyonce right now. I just texted her. She is like literally in the stadium. So she won't be joining us, and I'm excited to hear about her trip to Vancouver, and hopefully it's better than her trip to Edmonton.
Is this a story?
Oh, yeah. She was like at West Edmonton Mall. It was getting shot up by people, and she stepped in human feces and just,
shot up by people.
It was, well, the mall was shot up, yeah.
While she was there?
Well, she was in Edmonton during that and going to the mall the next day. Jeez. So it was just like a tourism Edmonton episode last time we were on here. Okay. We had a week off. Labor Day weekend kind of got in the way, and now we're back to our regular scheduled programming as the hockey season gets so close.
It's very exciting. It's like Christmas for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like it's like, you know, all the kids are starting school. It's all like the signs. People are going back to work. Mostly teachers.
Yep.
And then hockey.
I was looking at my calendar. I believe between season tickets to the Flames, partly, the Wranglers gig, the Canucks stuff I do, it's going to be like 90 plus hockey nights for me coming up.
Yep.
Which I'm excited for.
Yep.
But it is work.
True.
Mostly, not the Flames games.
It's enjoyable work for you.
It is enjoyable work, yeah. Mitch, you've been a lifelong Flames fan. You came in here today wearing a pedestal. Tell us a bit first there. You're wearing 24 Iginla?
Well, here. So I think I'm going to get some flack for this year because it's because, you know, you go and there's drunk people at games, and so they're going to give you flack anyway. But I got a 24 Iginla new pedestal jersey. Trying to do a little bit of like a.
Who's going to give you flack for that?
I don't know. I've gotten good. Feedback so far.
You're fine. You don't need to worry about getting flack for that.
I think drunk guy's going to be like, he's number 12.
Yeah, but you're like 7 feet tall, so just punch the guy out.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, Lyle.
That's true. If some guy comes up to you and goes, he's number 12, you should just look at them with the dumbest face and go, clearly you know nothing about Flames history. There you
go. The girl at the store thought I was very clever.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the history there for the listeners who don't know?
Iginla's rookie number.
There we go.
Is number 24 because he always wanted number 12.
Yep.
But it was taken at the time, and I horrible so-called Flames fan. Can't remember who that was at the time. I do know, but I can't remember.
I don't remember who it was on there back then.
So I apologize. But he couldn't wear 12, so we doubled it, wore 24, and then when 12 came available, I think it was even the next season.
Cut it back in half.
Yep. So I wanted it. This is my newest addition to the ever-growing collection.
Before we get too deep into this show here, we have a tradition where we make our guests enjoy smelling salts. And I actually never had done smelling salts until this show. And Michela introduced it to me. And I just thought, you know what, since you're here guest hosting, you should too. Just give it a good shake there. And feel free to get that big old nose in there and
warning.
Let us know how it goes.
Keep away from children. Do not use if allergic or pregnant. Well, that's it.
I should ask you, are you allergic or pregnant?
I'm pregnant, but I'm not allergic to anything. So
you're good. These are smelling salts. I think you're good. You can just go ahead.
There's a YouTube channel I watch where he's like, it's for the boys. Smelling salts for the boys.
I hated it. Get deep in there.
It's not so bad, actually.
It's kind of old.
Oh, yeah. That's not as bad as I thought
See,
it smells like, you know what that kind of smells like? It kind of smells like when you are in a pool.
Chlorine
pool, and then you accidentally like suck water up your nose. That's what it feels like.
I'm not gonna lie, your reaction to that was way too easy. So
I feel like we need a new one.
we need a new. Oh, there we go.
Here, should I do like a take where like it's like really bad, like just so we can like, because you're totally gonna do that and edit this to make it that take all the best.
Yeah. Okay. Take 2.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh.
What is this rancid shit? There you go. Well,
there you go.
Clearly we need a
For
new
the
one
boys.
because
You need a new one.
when I did that a few months ago, it made me want to cry. So
yeah, I actually was expecting more, to be honest.
There you go. You're a lifelong Flames fan.
Yes.
Lifelong, and I don't know.
As are you.
As am I. There's one guy who I can just chat with Flames hockey any given day, whether it's good or bad, and that's you. So one, you've been on our guest list for a while, but
thanks.
This co-hosting opportunity is just perfect here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Let's start there. Just what are your overall thoughts coming into this season, an off season that has maybe been tough on a few Flames fans, a few years, but there are some bright spots. There are some big management changes coming in. They're bringing a bit of the old boys club in a good way. Fan favorites, Conroy, Iginla. Just what is your general thoughts with the state of the Calgary Flames in 2023-24?
Absolutely. And like, oh man, I was thinking about this the other day, as one does.
Yes, as one does.
As one does who likes the Flames and has to drive a lot. Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like I am completely open to whatever happens this season, and I'm trying to have a very positive outlook, because last season was, and I'm known to not have a positive outlook and make myself feel. I think that's why we like talking Flames, because we usually try to make each other feel better when bad stuff, and we did that a lot last year, unfortunately.
There are games where we just checked in on each other's mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to make sure. But yes, to answer the question, I last year was so, you've heard it everywhere.
Depressing.
It was depressing, and it was horrible. It was a bad experience to be a Flames player or a Flames fan or anybody involved last year, whatever you want to blame that on, whether it's coaching, management, or, whatever.
We've heard all the analytics.
You've heard all this. Exactly. So, and I think like we've all been in crappy work situations on a team where people are starting to give up or don't care or something. And then you've got someone hard ass pushing you into the ground and all this. I don't know if that's what actually happened. I mean, that's what we all assume happened, but I wasn't in the room, so I don't know exactly happened. But by all accounts, it sounds like it was a really not fun place to be and a place to play. And not that hockey or your job is always fun.
Yep.
But I think just the feeling of having such a new outlook, and Conroy's, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying promise, but his want to bring in younger players, to bring in that energy and have all that going on. I think that alone makes me feel really good.
Yep.
And so I was even thinking about that on the way over here. I was just like, what at the end of the season, what is going to make me feel positive at the end? Like, is that making the playoffs? Is that obviously the long run makes everybody feel good?
Yeah.
But I think even if to see players that didn't play to their own expectations or to the fans' expectations last year have that jump forward, guys like Huberdeau and etc.
Yeah, I
think going down from him, then, because I think everybody could say they could have done better last year, except maybe Tyler Toffoli, who obviously is no longer here. But
yeah,
just to see that positive, maybe, I would be just happy to see the players having fun.
Yeah, a little looser.
Yeah,
I would love to see a bit more energy in just the games. I felt like watching quite a few games at home last year. You would it'd be a 1-goal game, be tight, but you never really felt like there was any energy to come back or push in the overtime. I mean, that team easily could have made the playoffs last year. Easily, had they just won half of those overtime games. Had they just pushed a quarter of those overtime games.
Because they missed by what, like 3 points?
Yeah, exactly. So they could have finished quite a bit higher up there and had an easier matchup too in the first round.
Yeah.
But it just felt like from the outside looking in, no one really wanted the 2 points. Even at the very end of the season, when it was very attainable, you had a pretty easy schedule to get into the show. It just felt like maybe they didn't want it. And that's all I want to see.
Yeah.
I would rather see us lose 81 games, but play our hearts out like a junior hockey team could than this situation. And giving minutes where minutes deserved sometimes. I'm kind of excited to see Lucic not on the ice for how many minutes a game, especially in the last 3.
Yeah.
A little more speed, a little more energy at the ice.
Yeah, and I will miss him, to be honest. But
because he gave us shit.
Well,
that
exactly,
was the biggest
totally. And I mean, he's such he's almost like he brings that. There's a reason why he's loved by so many fans, is because he brings that kind of a certain energy to it. And I mean, not like the intimidation factor too, but
I'm happy for him.
Me too.
He's going to retire in his hometown.
All right, you threw it where was he the other day? He was at like the Boston Red Sox game, throwing out the first pitch the other day, and he looks awesome. So I'm happy for him too. But yeah, I guess to your point there, yeah, no, I completely agree. And to see that, and I mean, adding on to that too, like they'd go into the overtime periods, and you can already tell they were scared to move the puck up the ice.
Yeah,
with the worry that they're gonna get scored on in 5, immediately after they try to put it in the net, right? So, yeah. So I'm looking forward to just seeing, a little bit more freedom. And with some freedom, comes mistakes, sure. But at the same time, I think if you're having a little bit more fun, you're not overthinking as much. Guys like Kadri and those young guys. I can't wait to see what Pelche does in a season where he's allowed to be himself.
Yeah.
And the coach isn't pretending to forget his number pregame. And
okay, so what was that? Do you think that was just a joke?
I think it's posturing. It's the same reason why he said 10 games in the season that Huberdeau was taking a shit halfway between the first and when he got injured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's posturing. It's like, look, I'm the boss here. At least, and look, again, preface, I wasn't in the room. I don't know Daryl Sutter. He's walked past me once, and that's the closest.
Didn't he smile at you or something?
He said I had a really nice jersey on, and so I felt made me feel good. Yeah.
I still love Sutter. Don't get me wrong. I just think that
Absolutely.
maybe it wasn't the same as the Sutter we had in 04.
I think his time is done. I think he's a Hall of Fame coach.
You can't take his pedigree away.
No, he's hockey royalty is what he is, and which is great, and it's cool that he's Albertan, and I'd be starstruck if I saw him as well.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think he was what we needed immediately when we hired him, and then it wore out quickly, and so it just unfortunately it didn't work out, and it is what it is. But yeah, I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Same thing with the Huberdeau thing. Same thing with the Pelche thing. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he took it too far. That's my 2 cents. At least that's how it looked like to me.
You know what? They did interviews in the room after, and Pelche said, "Oh no, he patted me on the shoulder and said I did a great job." But I think that was Pelche just answering the questions how you're supposed to. He couldn't be like, "Oh, I'm so sad," right? He had to really play it off like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
And I don't think the players really get that upset what's said in the media. They need to focus on other things anyways.
They're so used to it now too. I mean, for every right thing you do, there's 10 wrong things you do that fans out there will get on you for. So you got to have thick skin for sure. They're still humans though, so I'm sure it affects them at some point.
What do you think you're going to see from the new coaching regime this year?
Honestly, I have tempered optimism.
Yeah.
Is that the correct way to say it? Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan of the hire. I think Huska's awesome. I like that he's obviously more in tune with this generation of player. He has his own Twitter account, if we're allowed to call it Twitter now. I don't know what it is anymore, but X. But he's, he posts photos and, which doesn't make you a good hockey coach. But I guess my point is that it's such a change from what we had. We really need a coach who's active on Twitter. Yeah, that's what we need. That's all I needed. No, but I mean, yeah, I'm optimistic, and I just, again, going back to our first point, I'm just the feeling of having that little bit more. It's much lighter. Yeah, just going and maybe having a little bit more fun, but at the same time, from what I've heard is I had an interview with Rasmus Andersson talking about how he hated Huska for the first couple months playing down in the AHL, but it was because he knew what he could get out of him. So he was hard on him. He was hard, but to the point where he was like, look, if you give me this, I promise I'll be there for you. And it was this, it's not just one guy punching one guy into the ground. Oh, it's like a love story. It's exactly. He fell. Yeah. He fell for him. Did you like the hire? I did. Yeah. I did too. I think as an organization, it's whether it's business or hockey or anything, it's so important not just to look from the outside. You have to have some internal hiring. Yeah. And that's how you're going to get the best assistant coaches in the future.
that's they're going to get the best guys because they know if they stick to the system, they're loyal, they work their way up. There's a future. If you're always looking for the big name, older coach just to make a media splash, I don't know. I think it's a way to win American markets, or at least to get attention in American markets. But here, I love the move. He's been a loyal guy to the Flames organization. He's worked his way up. He's put in the time, and the other candidates in there really had limited NHL experience, and I think that's important.
Yep, absolutely. And I try to look at teams. Always try to emulate each other. Like the last team who won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
What does their team look like? What does their coaching staff look like? And they always try to, do something similar.
Yeah. And I think to your point earlier, hockey should be fun. And I think my hopes for this year, and it's coming up quick, is that we're going to see a looser, funner group. I know funner's not a word, but more fun group who enjoys playing in front of the dome, and the dome crowd will be there and they'll get behind them. Yeah. Much like the Young Guns years, I don't think we're quite going to be that bad, but I think we're going to see more prospects, which the players want. Listen, the fans want, sorry. I watched so many Wranglers games. There are so many committed hockey fans in this city who want to see the future. And you see all this speculation, okay, just on the lineups alone, Calgary's a weak team, blah, blah. You see all these predictions they're going to finish bottom of the division. We have a very, very strong up-and-coming group of prospects.
Yeah.
Very strong. And I think if you're an educated hockey fan and you look at that group, it lacks NHL experience. But, man, if some of those kids catch fire and take this opportunity they might get this year, you could see some exciting hockey and they'll win some games. My other thought is I think teams might take us a little bit lighter for the first little bit too. Think if they're playing a back-to-back on the road, they're playing in Edmonton maybe the night before, coming to Calgary. We might see some backup goaltenders, very likely. We might get a few teams, if you start winning, they're going to take you seriously, but they might not be getting up as much as they would normally to play a tough Veterans Flames squad. So
sure,
look to capitalize on those points early. And I always remind myself too, those points in the beginning of the season are just as important as winning those big games at the end of the year. 3 points last year, whatever it was to miss the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You can make that up early on too.
Oh, for sure. Well, I always used to laugh as a kid when I had cable and I'd watch, I don't know if we're allowed to say other sports networks on here, but you'd watch all the highlights in the morning or late at night.
We really don't have that many rules here. It's fine.
That's fair. My point is I'm watching, you're watching one of the sports highlight shows.
Yep. On one of those networks. Can't be named.
And early on, and early on in the season, players are always trying to, if they're off to a 5-10 start or whatever, which the Flames were on, right before COVID, the Flames had that same record and ended up having one of the best seasons in franchise history.
Yeah.
So, you understand the players have to, don't get me started. But, but the players come out in front of the cameras and they're like, well, it's early on in the season. And so because they have to say that, right? It's like, we're only 15 games in. We got a lot of games left. We got a lot of time to make this up. We're going to try our, pucks in deep. We're going to try our best. And
four lines banging.
Lots of puck separation. And but then but if it doesn't right itself quickly, it's funny how that can creep up on you. And all of a sudden you got this hole to dig out of. Man, October and November are super important.
Yeah.
Always.
Big for confidence. You go into that break, you got to feel good about yourself coming back to the rink after Christmas, New Year's there.
Totally.
And like I said, those 2 points every game in October add up just as much as the end.
Totally.
And I think they got to take advantage of some teams maybe taking it a bit lighter. I really do.
And that's one thing they didn't do last year. So I felt like we were losing the teams we should have won against a bunch. And they know we always say this as fans too. The players know this even better than we do.
Yes. And I always remind myself too, there is no easy night in the NHL.
No.
Everyone has a roster that's a really, really good hockey team. Top in the world, really, you could say. So even if it's a team that is perceived to be a bottom feeder, there's still a tough matchup. You're not going to get an easy win.
Oh, no. The worst guy in the NHL, skill-wise,
is still
could destroy most people.
Yeah. 100%.
Physically and talent-wise.
And sometimes too, all fan bases get really tough, but it's it is tough to, only one team wins the cup. 2, it's tough to even make the playoffs in this league.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we're watching really good hockey. And I know it kind of sounds like a loser attitude, but
if people could only hear our conversations.
We're gonna see.
We're sounding really nice right now, but
we'll have you on again as when Michela's back as a guest. We'll talk about how the season's going. We'll see what our mood in maybe mid-October, early November, what our mood is compared to now. But right now, it's met with just nothing but optimism, smiles.
Start a hockey season, eh?
Oh, the world's our oyster. Anything can happen. The Flames released their prospect training camp this week, and what's happening in Penticton coming up, the Young Stars. Any thoughts there? Any players really jumping off the page at you?
Well, I think the one that everyone's probably most excited for is Matt Coronado, probably, because he's the only one on the roster that has NHL game experience.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of people out there, probably including a lot of people in the Flames front office, that probably think he has a good chance of making the actual roster. Because, I mean, he fills out a spot that they got rid of in the offseason. So, and who else do they have? Unless for out of the blue, they make a Hannafin trade for someone in that position. I think Coronado has a really, and it's not, and again, not like he's going to be on the first line right away. I'm not saying he's going to.
Absolutely not.
That's not what I'm saying. But he does have a similar, at least on paper, has a similar skill set to what we just got rid of, or what we lost, I should say.
Yep.
So that's exciting. And you've got Samuel Honzek on there too, our most recent draft pick. I'm excited to see what he looks like on the ice.
I am too. I went back and watched a lot of his junior video there, and I think he's a pretty dynamic player.
Absolutely.
I always get a kick of too, no matter who you pick, going back to the draft, it's like, what are they thinking? And you're like, you guys have no idea.
Nobody has any idea.
It's like, why don't you just go back and watch how many junior games have you watched to give an opinion on that?
Yeah.
And then they're just going by who's highly ranked on the NHL central scouting list. And it's like, that's not what a team's doing.
No.
They're not looking at that list and picking the highest pick. They're looking to what they need in their organization.
I always think it's like cattle. It's like they're like literally rating, like it's like watching the draft. Watching the draft is so funny. And I get why it's so important. You know, this is the future of your multi-million-dollar franchise. Like I get it. But like, oh man, I think Bill Burr has a joke or something like that where he's like, doesn't understand why people watch the draft. He's like, I get it, but at the same time, like you go back and you can just read all the names.
Well, and how many draft picks really make a splashing difference to organization right away besides the top ones? Like,
and I know other sports it means more. Like if it's in the NFL or whatever, that you know a draft pick can make or break your team for the next 5-10 years. Like I understand that. But,
that's fair.
But yeah, but going back to Samuel, I'm excited just to see what he looks like. I mean, I've seen video and all that, but you know, like Connor is huge on him. If he didn't have some injury trouble last year, which he did, they said he'd probably be ranked way higher.
That's fair.
So, you know, hopefully, you know, knock on wood that he doesn't have.
I'm not even sure if this is wood.
Is it wood?
It might just be like
the bottom is.
I think it might be that particle board stuff they make from IKEA. I'm not sure if I'd call that wood or not.
Around here. It's okay.
A couple of Wranglers too, getting a shot to play some more before the season starts there. So excited to see Kuznetsov, see how he takes it there on the D line. And then I'd say I'm really excited to see what kind of showcase there we can see out of Klapka as well, because I thought he was great last year.
My boy Klapka.
I love Klapka.
Klapka.
He was fun to watch actually, and heck of a shot too. Nikoliv is going to be there as well. I'm sure I'm saying that right. I said it all year last year.
I was gonna say, aren't you the announcer?
I am. Cairns is back too. He's playing up in Penticton. So
just gloss over that.
Sometimes I had our team down.
Yeah.
I would definitely
it's gotta be so hard, man.
I would definitely get kind of quiet for visiting goals if I had no idea, like some Eastern European, like I would just kind of get a little bit quieter. That's fine. You're allowed to do that with the PA announcer.
That's fair.
It can be completely biased. You don't have to be at all balanced.
Oh man, like some of that. What's great is if you ever want to get down a YouTube hole, going off on a tangent for a second.
Go ahead.
If you ever want to go down a good YouTube hole, commentators messing up guys' names, and not just in the NHL, but in general, is some of the best viewing ever.
We do a series here with Michela where we go through really bad anthems.
Absolutely.
We're good anthems.
As she is a fantastic anthem singer.
And then just have her rank them. She's very kind, by the way. Like she gives everyone like, oh, they tried hard and they're talented. I'm like, no.
Are we not doing that today?
No. Well, I didn't have one prepared for you. Sorry.
Okay. That's fine.
It's fine. We are going to talk about your anthem experience coming up here though. But
sweet.
but yeah, it's I'm gonna bring that one in there because I love commentators screwing things up.
Oh, it's the best. And it's you're laughing at people's mistakes, and that's not, it might not be too nice, but we all do it. And it's fun to watch. It gives me entertainment. Yeah. But I guess that leads me to a question I had for you. So,
oh yeah, go ahead.
You're up there, average. There's thousands of people in the Saddle Dome at Wranglers games.
Yep.
Have you ever gotten like right up to the moment where you're about to say it, realizing that you might just screw it up completely? Like you have this moment of like pure like junior high nervousness and say that you're pretty good at. Well, I know you're very talented. I'm not like thinking that.
No, I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything. I just I was nervous for that first game.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
That very first one, it was on my birthday. It was October 16th last year. We did one preseason game with a closed arena against the UFC Dinos, and to me that was like announcing an AJ game. I was fine, just no nerves.
Yeah.
Leading up to the home opener, I was definitely nervous. So at
you have to do all the announcements too, right?
Well, it was it was introducing the players.
Yeah, like the pregame, like you're announcing the whole roster and everything, right?
Yeah, the whole roster and their hometowns, and some of these hometowns too were like from Slovakia and Russia. I was just learning, but I didn't get nervous. I'd say I was nervous before. Started going, it was fine. The timing, you have a director walking you through. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself or skip a player. That was your worst fear, right?
Yeah.
But if I go past there, it's a pretty technological system. Like it's on your screen. You have a director beside you, so it's kind of hard to really get lost.
Right.
But what I did do is I went so hard on Dustin Wolf because I was pumped just to announce his name.
Everybody loves him, yeah.
And
Big Bad Wolf.
I definitely Big Bad Wolf. Big Bad Wolf. Anyway, so I go really hard in his name. And then is this thing you'll probably know this, I damaged my vocal cord.
Yeah, you just went too hard.
Went way too hard, and it was like instant. And so I had to, luckily it was at the end, had to kind of hobble through the rest of the intro into the O Canada. And I felt like my voice was never going to come back, and just kept drinking water. And slowly it did by like halfway the first period. I was like, oh my God, I just literally ruined my voice for this on the opening sequence of the season.
The night Dustin Wolf ruined your voice.
And then of course I got super nervous that like it was never going to come back. And I was like, oh my God, everyone's watching the first game. That's kind of the judgment. And it did come back. But anyways, that was lesson learned. You have to warm your voice up apparently too, which I didn't do enough of. It was like, and Dustin Wolf, and we just don't go so hard in the opening announcements.
Yeah, well, you were excited too.
I was, yeah.
It's always been one of my dreams too. Is like as a kid, I used to play video games and commentate and announce as I was playing NHL '99 with John LeClaire on the cover.
NHL '99.
Oh yeah.
Weren't you like barely born in '99?
I was 6.
You were playing NHL when you were 6?
Yeah, 6, 7. I think I got it. I got it a couple years after, because like back in those days, it wasn't like you're waiting for the brand new game to come out, because the Nintendo 64 was out for like years and years and years and years.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And then so I think I played '99 in like elementary school. I was like 7, 8. But I had John LeClaire on the front, number 10, Philadelphia Flyers.
I think I played NHL 21 the most, and that was my only gaming year. I don't know why, but I played on the computer, and there was something you could do, and you would score every time.
Yep.
I can't remember what it was. It was like 3 sequences. As long as you pressed them all in a row and passed it, you were going to guarantee a goal. And I was beating up teams like 21-0.
That happens in the game still. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
By the way.
Shocking, right? There's glitches in the games and how it works.
Go on for hours with that too.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer, I'll be honest. I want to ask you about one thing.
Okay.
And I just want to
making me nervous.
I want to know, 1, what it is you can explain, and then 2, if you'd recommend it to people at home. But what are rocket skates?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, okay. So this is a little insight into Mitch history, but the rocket skates.
Maybe my favorite Mitch story I think I ever had.
So long story short, if you've seen the first Jackass movie, there's a scene where Johnny Knoxville straps bottle rockets to his roller skates, and they're in Japan, and they skate. It's like middle of the night, and they're all like hammered because they're all like at the bar, and then he had an idea, and they're like, "Well, let's go fucking do it." but they strap bottle rockets to his roller skates, and make him go down this pathway, and they shoot off and whatever. So for like 7 New Years in a row, we thought it'd be a great idea. My parents have a place out in BC, right on the lake, and
sorry, 7 in a row.
7 years in a row went off.
That's a long run.
It was a long run.
Rocket skates. Yep.
And it wasn't always me doing it, but you'd take hockey skates, you'd strap fireworks to your hockey skates. Usually not very strong ones. You're doing it for the visual, not for like propulsion. Like you're not going for speed, you're going for style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So preface this also.
This is on a dark lake, right? At night?
It's like right before midnight.
Yeah.
So we're like, usually we start around 11. So you have about an hour to like make sure you're all in the right spot. We have very minimal safety procedures.
Yep.
Which is basically, does this look good? Some guy goes, yeah, and then you go. But this year, we were, for reasons, we were delayed. We were in Fernie for a while, and we were delayed, and we realized how late it was in the evening. Like, crap, we got to get home and start cooking the dinner and get the skates ready and all this stuff. So
I like how you say long story short. Now we're hearing the dinner plans prior.
Sorry, it makes sense. Point is we got late, so we were in a rush.
Yes.
And
so you missed the safety meeting that day.
So missed the safety meeting. I was in charge of putting the rockets on the skates, which I had never done.
Yeah.
Up until this point. And so I did it, showed everyone. They're like, yeah, it looks great. And I put them on the boot of the skate.
Oh, and normally they go in the plastic part.
Blade of the skate. That was mistake number one. Number two was that my dad bought different fireworks.
A little bit high powered fireworks.
He wanted ones that look like jets. So he bought ones that were jets, and it turned out to be the ones, like, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're the ones that you put on the ground, you light, and they spin really fast. It's because it actually creates a bit of a jet propulsion. He wasn't really going for speed still, it just would look cool.
Yep.
So put it on, did it. My brother was the other one who did it. My brother was hammered. And so they lit, like, we had sparklers on there too. They lit the sparklers, and he thought the whole thing was lit. So we took off, and like nothing happened. I was not hammered, so I waited. They lit every single one, went, and I burnt right through my skate and got like 3rd-degree burns on the heel of my foot.
Which that part's not funny because I know it hurt.
Yeah, the funny part was it hurt. It actually only hurt for like 5 seconds. But it hurt a lot more later.
Yeah. So let's back it up a couple years earlier, and you're telling us about this at one of our hangouts, and I was going, that seems very dangerous. And you're like, no, it's fine. Like nothing ever happens.
This is pre-accident.
Pre-accident. You're like, no, it's great. You guys will love it. It's fun. And then we see you at a New Year's hockey game, maybe the 2nd week of January.
Yeah.
And here comes Mitch Belot with a sandal on at the dome.
I remember.
And what happened?
Yeah.
And then it was rocket skates.
Well, actually, and then what I did is I cut the heel out of my Converse.
Yeah.
So like I invented Converse slippers.
Now, did your wife, the lovely Justine,
yeah,
did she love this idea going into this?
No.
So was this a little bit of like, oh, I was right, or was this just like, what were you doing?
More so just you're an idiot, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't just you. It was a family tradition.
It's a family tradition. I ended it because I was the first one to.
And it's over now? No one does rocket skates anymore.
Nope. As in the words of Johnny Knoxville, no more rocket skates.
No more rocket skates.
Yeah. So now every time we go on a trolley 5, Ernie goes, "Hey, rocket skates." Every time.
I know maybe you're sick of this story, but I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, it's good.
And
I think the people need to know. I'm proud of it now. I think it's hilarious.
Under our guest list here, which originally you were going to be a guest, you still will be in the future here because I want to have you back on. I have 3 notes.
Yes.
4 notes. Musician, avid Flames fan, fine whiskey, and rocket skates.
Woo. Yep. Good. That's a good 4. I think that's a good 4.
I also have Mitch Belot, parentheses, bitch motel.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Bitch motel is just my name mixed up. But I like
when Michela said, I was like, oh, are you being a bully? And she's like, no, he loves it.
Yeah. Well, I used to do improv at Loose Moose Theater, and we did a little like a pretend band for a little bit, and then we called it Bitch Motel.
Fair enough.
Where I played bass. Yeah.
Slapping the bass.
I was gonna say one more thing, but I forget, so don't worry about it.
No, it'll come back to you.
It'll come back.
Feel free to interrupt me.
No.
Kind of shifting back a little bit to your music career here in the city. So
Sure.
how's that going for you? First of all, is there any new music coming? That's what
the
people want to know. Yeah,
well, that's the plan. Well, that's what you want to know.
that's what I want to know. I think the fans want to know.
All these people
I'll
at
be
home are
honest.
just like,
No, look them up if you have a chance. Look them up online if you don't already do it. Awesome music. Every time. The thing with you is we've had you play numerous events and introduce you to, like, I'm gonna say probably over 1,000 people over the different things.
Supportive, yeah.
And
which I appreciate.
I've never met someone who's not just like instantly in love with your style. Honestly, we'll have like a room full of very talented musicians and big names in the country world and everything, and at the end of the day, people are still talking about you.
Well, that's very nice.
And your wife, Justine. So yeah, is there anything new coming?
Well, that's the plan. Like, and it's funny, I keep telling people that they're like, "Oh, write new stuff," and I'm really good at writing like half of songs.
Just not finishing them.
Yeah.
Why don't you release a whole album of half songs, or just cuts out at 1:30 or something?
Be a thing. But I think for me, and everybody does their art differently, without getting too deep here. But for me, I get very quick spurts of creativity.
Yep.
I like to do it all in one. And I used to get most of my songwriting done when I like middle of the night.
You're a night owl, aren't you?
I know, full on. Still, even though I have a full-time job and married now, but so I find that that's what kind of keeps me back a little bit. Is I don't have that because at night it's so quiet, shut everything off. No one's, and you also like when I feel self-conscious when I'm during the writing process.
Yep.
It's not done. I want people to hear it when it's ready to go, when it's done. And
that's
so
fair.
Yeah, so that's why it takes
so
so
the
long.
answer is there's music coming.
Yes.
soon?
So the plan is we've written a couple, and so ones that are like actually done. So we're putting it out there. So if anybody wants to listen, I'm the only Mitch Belot on the internet, but as far as I know,
I've heard so many. It's a hard name to say.
It is,
but it shouldn't be.
It's the hardest 5-letter last name in the world.
But everyone goes
apparently
Belot, really, or
Belot,
or like just completely butchers it. I'm like, you bell it? Yeah. I'm like, no, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Belot. A lot. Yeah.
It's
lot. Weird. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Okay. So in terms of performances and stuff too, you're all over the city all the time and fun to watch. But one I have in my calendar circled is coming up at the Alberta Junior Hockey League Showcase. You're going to be playing the Ranchman stage in between intermissions for 2 games on, I believe it's the Wednesday, correct? It's the Canucks game at 5 p.m.
Yes.
And the game after at 8 p.m. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that.
Fun. Oh, well, like you guys, like you were saying, you guys always bring us out to awesome events. And I get to do hockey. Like you get to be at a hockey game, which I love, and I get to be supporting a Calgary sports team, and then I get to be playing music. I'm
gonna pump this again. The AJ Classic. It's not called that. The AJ Showcase brings all 16 teams to our city over the course of 4 days. But the Ranchman stage, that's what we're going to focus on here a little bit. We have, I think, over a dozen local artists who are just going to be rocking that stage. Charlie Kobelka, young up and coming artist. We've got Michela Sheedy, our own. We've got Mitch Belot. We've got Devin Cooper. We got Brendan Lorenzo doing our home opener the Saturday before. So really going to bring a lot of live music to that arena, and a little bit of a different sports marketing take too. I mean, the Flames are the red corner sometimes. Yeah. We're going to try and own that really heavily this year, lean into our talent. And we thought in the other towns that host this event, or that bid to host this event, the Black Falls, the Brooks, Albertas.
The Olds
can't host it. Their arena sucks. It does. It sucks. It's a horrible, horrible arena. Yeah, it needs a modern facility.
Says Lyle, the Olds native.
Formerly. Oh, yeah, I am an Olds native. I love the town still. Yeah. But no, the arena is horrible, and they don't even go for a bid, honestly. It's tough to do it there. But what we can showcase is beyond the talent that comes from across the province, all 16 teams. We can showcase how cool of entertainment we have here. So dozens of artists doing intermissions. We also have on the Friday, Siksika Nations doing a really cool Truth and Reconciliation celebration. They're going to bring in like 13, 14 dancers, hoop dancers, drummers. Going to get it going in there.
That's awesome.
Excited to have you there for the Canucks games. You've done a few Canucks games, though.
Yeah.
And you're always a fan favorite with that one, too.
I like to go.
And that's where it's going to go. So Thinking of Michela here a little bit. You got to sing the national anthem in the Canucks game. You did with the guitar too.
First one ever.
Yeah,
for me.
It was moving.
Thanks, man.
I thought so.
We're gonna hug it out in mid-show.
The after hour show was just me and Mitch hugging this couch over here,
rubbing.
We'll rub it out after.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden, if you say rubbing and you say rub it out, changes the whole thing completely.
I meant like this.
I know what you meant. Don't you worry.
If you're not watching
we're
on
both
YouTube,
happily married.
When two dudes rub, when two dudes hug, a little back rub.
Yeah, lets you know you care.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like you'd always wanted to play O Canada.
Oh, yeah, it's always
Your mom had always wanted you to play O Canada and sing it.
As
she was there
do.
for that.
Yeah.
What went through your mind before and after the performance? Albeit it wasn't like a sold out Saddle Dome, but 300-400 in the Max Bell. What was your emotion for that?
And I guess at the risk of sounding cheesy, it was pride for sure. Like, because I've never done it before, and it was like obviously I've sang the national anthem a bajillion times, just like every other Canadian.
Yeah,
but
at a Flames game.
If you've been to a sporting event or any event for that matter, but yeah, it felt really good, and I was happy with how it turned out.
I was too.
And to be involved, like I've always kind of wanted to do it, and you guys gave me that opportunity, which is awesome. And
I also very rarely see someone bring their electric guitar with them.
Yeah,
or acoustic guitar, whatever.
And I'm not the first one to do it because
but it's pretty rare still.
That's fair, but
it was lovely.
I feel, and it's a total crutch because like I feel more comfortable with it than I do without it.
Yeah, but it added something that was beyond what you could just do standing up there and singing. It was cool.
Well, and you've probably talked about on the show because you were telling me about your we were talking about the
anthem fails.
The anthem fails that you guys do with Michela, but like you guys have probably talked about Chris Stapleton's national anthem. Did you guys talk about that?
We haven't got to Chris Stapleton yet. We mostly focus on blooper ones.
Ones that aren't so good. Yeah, fair. So this one it's
funnier that way.
Right.
We could do a series where it's just really amazing anthems, but it for the people at home, it's funny to hear the bloopers.
For sure. And I totally get that. But and going back to Chris Stapleton for a sec, he's probably it was at the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
And it's probably the best anthem I've ever heard sung.
It was,
like not just like American, like ever. And I'm not even. It made me feel patriotic, and I'm nowhere close to being American. Like it was, and so, and that happened shortly before I sang the anthem with you guys, and it was
that was your inspiration.
It was the inspo, but not like I wasn't gonna go and be like, this is gonna be just as good as Chris Stapleton.
I think it was just as good as Chris Stapleton.
No, don't say that.
The Canadian anthem it's hard to really get that like Canada, fuck yeah. Like it's not like the American
There is no
anthem.
Canada, fuck yeah. There's America, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
but there is no Canada.
Their anthem is just so like it's about bombs bursting and like flags waving, and it's just so patriotic. And ours is kind of, as our nation is, a little more subdued.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful song. And people like Michela make it sound so lovely, and Gord Bamford and not Gord Bamford. Why did I say that?
George Canyon.
George Canyon. Sipping on breakfast beer.
Another Albertan.
I'm sure Gord Bamford's done the anthem somewhere.
Oh, for sure, yes. Yeah.
But
yeah, somewhere.
It's just tougher to make it be that. But I thought that guitar and you just kind of plucked away at it. It was quite nice. And I'm also told you're going to record it for us.
Yeah. Well, I
release
like,
it.
I don't know. Like,
well, I kind of need it in the next 2 weeks. So
I know you need it by the 23rd, right?
As time is running out.
No, it's okay. I got you covered. But yeah, well, I mean, that's gonna be super cool. I mean, I can't make it to every single game, so if you guys guys did a recording for a lot of last year anyway, which had no voice. So if it can be my voice,
our recording sucks. So I'm also gonna keep sharing it with the Wranglers people. So Michela's not there. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know who hears it, right?
I'd love to back up Michela. That'd be awesome.
I think she's got
she kicks butt. So
so
I don't want to steal her thunder, but
we miss you, Michela. We'll see you back here next week.
Yeah.
Do you know what this song means?
Is this the stance report?
We're saving this to the end because it's sad.
Are we almost done already?
Yep. Fight. Foul.
Jeez. That flew by. For me, anyway.
Well,
hopefully for you, too.
It flew by because it sucks this year, yep.
We didn't do a bloopers section with me, though, but it's okay.
Do you know the song?
No, is this an actual Stamp song?
This is our fight song from like the 60s. Yep. The Calgary.
We should bring back
Yeah, it's a great fight song. It's very fun. Okay, so we're gonna go back. We took a week off, so 2 Stamps games have happened. 1-1. It was a series that they really could have got back into the playoff picture. They could have been really in the East crossover picture, but they needed to win 2 against a struggling Elk squad who sucks. They won what they had to at Labor Day.
Yep.
And then they went back to Edmonton just a couple days ago and really blew a lead, had some questionable calls at the end, but dropped a walk-off field goal loss to the Elks and split the series. And what's sad about that is it pretty much, I don't know how to say it's out, you're done, but I believe we had the longest playoff record in like North America, and it's going to end this year. I'm afraid.
Never say never, but it's looking that way.
Well, they are 4 points back of Saskatchewan, who has a game in hand on us.
Yeah.
And in the Eastern crossover, they are 2 points back of Hamilton, who also has a game on us. And it's not looking like there's much going. And to make it worse, we're only 2 points up on Edmonton, who, like I said, was breaking other North American sports records for losing, and they are just 2 points back of Calgary. So we really could finish dead last in the CFL this year, which I think I've never seen in my life.
I have.
Well, then I have too, because I'm older than you.
Yeah.
When?
It was when all the ownership weirdness was going on. And then the owner's son was playing backup quarterback.
And the Save Our Stamps campaign and everything. Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
but since then, which was quite a long time, it was 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I think it's a 17 or 18
20 years of good teams.
Yes, and I think we're on a 17 or 18-year playoff streak.
And you and I are in our early 30s, so that's most of our lives. Where the Stamps
I love
have
that
been
you're
good.
in your 30s now. Yeah, it's nice.
I get mistaken for 18-year-olds all the time, which is annoying as hell, but I am
'cause you got a little baby face over
do.
there. So let's go back. We'll go back to the win.
Okay.
In this Stamps
Let's start
report.
positive.
We're going to start. I'm not even going to talk about the loss. I already did. We lost in Edmonton. Season's over. But going back to the peak of hope was
I'm more positive than you, but yes.
Well, I'm a diehard Stamps fan, and honestly, I don't know. I love the Flames.
Yeah.
But the Stamps can make me sadder than the Flames can if they lose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's not the same for me.
No, I mean, I just think I invest a lot into the games and the tailgate, and I just love them so much.
You guys are so involved, which is absolutely. Yeah.
And the Stamps can really affect my mood. Actually, they both can. I lie. It's probably equal. Whatever. There's 2 teams that can make me sad in life, and that's the Stamps and the Flames. So going back to Labor Day, we had an awesome tailgate party. First of all, it was kind of cold and raining earlier on the day. It cleared up. The smoke was there, but whatever.
Bad weather makes the best tailgates, man.
We threw a great tailgate party. You and your wife played. It was a lot of fun. We had like 50, 60 people watching and went in the stadium. And the Stamps were not looking that great in that game, eh? In the first 3 quarters. It was looking
80% of that game, they did not look good.
It was looking like they were hanging on, but holy smokes. You always, Labor Day is the game that you get that extra oomph.
Yeah.
Because you got the crowd behind you, the jets flying over, which, by the way, that didn't happen, which was the first big letdown of the game.
It's unfortunate.
Oh, Canada ends. Everyone's looking up into the smoky sky.
Safety third. Come on.
And then the PA announcer, Jason Tate, comes on and says, there'll be no flyover. And then everyone booed. Not booing the pilots, just booing the fact that there was no flyover.
It's the most people I've heard all at one time go, oh.
And then boo.
Boo.
Well, it's that letdown because you're in your seats early.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. The only reason I rushed to pack up a big tailgate party and get into the stadium for that game is because of the Jets.
Right.
That feeling when they go.
Exactly like that.
How's that for a sound effect?
That was well done. It's much louder.
It breaks the sound barrier. It makes your heart just go. That makes you feel patriotic.
For sure.
Let's go to war, boys.
Yeah.
That's how I feel after that. That didn't happen.
Smelling salt?
Yeah, right. And then the game was a real slow field goal affair. Back and forth, 3 points at a time. Paredes putting it through the uprights. Edmonton doing the same. Anyways, they got down, looking like Edmonton was going to crush our spirit. And then there was a great comeback. One of the best comebacks I've seen in a long time for the Labor Day Classic in Calgary.
Yeah.
They win. I understand you were sitting in section P. You had some fans doing the rally caps.
I had 3 rows doing the rally caps, Lyle.
I was also told by a few of our friends that were sitting in the section that I got for you guys was you're the most fun person they've ever sat through a Stamps game with.
I will take that to heart, and it needs to be a good time. Especially you got to milk it when your team is doing well. 3 rows, Lyle.
I know.
Rally caps.
And I'd buy you guys tickets down by us. They're just not available. But I really want to sit with you at a Stamps game because I haven't done that. We always have to sit wherever and get you guys a bulk. I want to get the group together right after the tailgate.
Can I go off on a tangent for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like, have you heard about those guys out there that are hired to be a good time at parties and
like a hype guy?
Hype guy.
Yeah.
But not like
a male stripper.
I was told that Mitch is like one of the top 10 male stripper names.
Next to the stage.
Mitch. But in all seriousness, I think I could do that, not the male stripper job, but I think I could do, nobody wants to see that.
You could do both if you wanted to. Don't close your mind.
I don't know how to take that. Thank you. Anyways.
Yeah, you could be a hype guy.
I could be the guy that gets hired to go to weddings and sporting events and hype people up. I could do that.
You could be John Cornish, but in the crowd.
Yes, and I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, here's the trade-off, is I don't think I could do it for teams I don't care about. Like, I mean, maybe if you're getting paid a bunch of money, you could, but
you couldn't be an Oilers hype guy.
I'd rather get peed on than do that.
That's good. I would too.
Yeah.
Hell no. I couldn't do it. I have to believe in what I'm hyping up.
Yeah. But so in that moment, and that's why I think sports is awesome. Like, again, another tangent, but a couple days ago they put out what team was it in? I think it's Virginia Tech. Put out their video.
Ooh, that's a good intro. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Enter Sandman intro.
Yeah.
Like, you see all those people
jumping.
Yes, and they're all singing it, and oh my god! And it was like that's sports at the pinnacle of this is like worst grammar ever, but the pinnacle of awesomeness. Like, that is like the pinnacle of great sport.
And and
to have help people experience, again, I'm making myself sound like I'm some pariah or something. I'm not trying to do that, but I was having so much fun that I was trying to get everyone else to have fun. Erin, our friend.
That's one of the comments who said it's the most fun.
She said, I think you were more fun than the game, which was kind of sad, but also I took it as a huge compliment. And so if anybody wants to go to a sporting event, I will go with you.
Yeah, that is fun. And you know what? And one person can get a whole section going.
It was fun. Yeah.
That's well, good for you. If the Stamps are listening, get this guy some season tickets, because more sections could use that kind of, you got Party Boy down in N. He's got the drum. Mitch could have his own section. Maybe it's M. Maybe it's section M.
They have a part. They have a Party Boy.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but he's got a drum and he's down. His jersey says Party Boy. He has a drum and he's down low in N, and he's awesome.
Okay.
He's got a name. I just can't.
I've met him many times. Here's an issue though. My family's had season tickets since the 70s. I don't know who Party Boy is.
Well, you have to be in section N to know who Party Boy is.
Oh, he's only section N.
He's at the bottom of section N.
So he's not
in the end zone. He's not like a hype guy like John Cornish going around. He's
hired by the team.
No, he's just.
He's just some guy. Oh, good for him,
faster. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was like the Stamps, trying to create more
I don't
buzz.
think so.
Oh, sorry.
They have created
Party guy, Party Boy, Party guy, Party Boy.
I think it's Party Boy on the back.
Party Boy.
Yeah.
And then the Jackass reference, but good for him then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think you could have a career in this. You could be a rentable sports figure in the city.
Yeah.
Paid per game to come out there and hype the fans. I mean, they paid John Cornish to do it. Why can't they? They added the hype squad or hype team to the Stamps too. Those are cool to watch. My biggest complaint before Labor Days was we didn't have flipping cheerleaders.
Yeah.
We still don't. But we have a hype team that flips girls around, and it's fun.
Yep.
Add something to it. Going back to that college intro you were talking about, though, I wish sometimes. Yeah, it's a sick song. I wish sometimes that we just in Canada got into sports as much as Americans and Europeans do.
Oh my God.
Yes,
I was talking about this the other day.
The Flames will get into you get into the deep in the playoffs or even the playoffs. Yeah, the dome is loud. It's awesome. But the rest of the season, we are such critical fan base. And I get it. We're educated. We're watching the game. We're critical. We're blah, blah, blah. But we don't just let loose and go nuts.
Yeah.
Period. That's across. No fan base does. Edmonton sometimes because they're like just uneducated a little bit.
Yeah.
But a few chromosomes short kind of thing. But like you just don't see it as much in.
Oh boy.
We rip on Edmonton a bit here. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. You just don't see it in Canadian sports, and I wish we did.
Well, even in some like the Americans do it better, but it's still not to the level. I even say just to say like European is like the pinnacle, especially like if you take European football as they call it.
Yeah, football.
Football.
Yes, as it said.
Like I watched the Welcome to Wrexham documentary.
Well, that's on the list. Yeah, is it good? Don't ruin it. Well, actually, you told me about it. That's why it's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I mean, there's not a whole lot to tell because it actually happened. But
fine.
Fact of the second season is coming out in a couple days. If you're watching, this is September 11th today. If you're watching, but it's coming out on the 16th.
Don't ruin the illusion. We're live on the 13th in the morning.
Sorry, we're live on the 13th in the morning.
Yeah, it's Wednesday morning. Jeez,
hump day.
Happy
today.
Hump day.
Anyways, so to see like the chance, and I will to throw a shout out.
Go ahead.
The Cavalry have done a fantastic job.
Yes.
And Cavalry number 1, but then
the foot soldiers
they're
called. Yeah,
they're the best. I went to the game against Edmonton.
Do you want to hear some good news?
Like singing about cold Edmonton hookers and shit is the best. Why aren't we singing those at hockey games?
I haven't heard that song yet. Do you want some good news?
Yes.
The game that you're playing in the Dome, in the Max Bell Center.
Yeah.
The foot soldiers are coming.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if they're all coming, but I've got I think 20 to 40 coming.
We create a chant.
And I'm just saying.
Use my kick drum.
I'm giving you guys tickets, and I'm giving you free beer, like a free beer each, to come and showcase Calgary fandom. We're showcasing everything in this showcase. So
why is that and we've had friends, we have a mutual friend, Riley Pollock. He's been down to Europe to go watch hockey. He was in Germany watching hockey.
It's nuts.
And they do that. They sing and they it's the whole game, and it's a lot of energy. So I get why people don't do it the whole game. But and I don't want people waving flags. Then the person behind them can't see.
I also don't want like a smoke bomb going off in my face during the power play, so I can't see what's happening.
Let's be real here. But at the same time, there's far too often in hockey games where people are silent.
Yes,
which makes the goals and like the big moments seem even more spectacular for sure. But oh man, if we could bring that back somehow. And even if you go down to an NFL game, you can hear buzz in the crowd the entire game.
Yeah.
Like they're moving the entire game. And I understand tailgating is harder in the winter.
Yes.
But we should do more of that at hockey games. Maybe with the new arena, they'll have to be more cool space for it and stuff.
Because tailgating gets you a little drunker, which gets you a little louder. Even at the Dome, those Saturday 8:00 games are always a little louder than maybe a Monday at 7.
Absolutely.
Alcohol. That's the answer. Mitch, I am so grateful that you took time on your Monday today, your day job, which, by the way, is?
I'm a sales rep with Eau Claire Distillery.
Some of the finest whiskey in Alberta.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I forgot to bring you some.
I know. I was not even going to give you a shout out about that because you didn't bring any RTDs, but instead we're drinking some Fired Up from our friends at Vanda Peak. Shout out to Mallory on the marketing team.
Absolutely. I should bring you guys some Eau Claire because we are the official whiskey of the Calgary Flames.
Well, why don't you just bring some by, and I'm sure the boys here would love it too. So yeah, that's a cool day job.
It's fun.
I love that for you.
It's good for a musician and good for a person who likes to get out and talk to people. So if you need some Eau Claire whiskey, you got a guy.
Yeah, if you're like a restaurant or something, you need to do a mass order, even better. Yeah. Official whiskey of the Calgary Flames.
Yep, we make the whiskey for the Stampede. We work with the Cavalry, the Stampeders, and almost all sports teams in Calgary. So
it's good whiskey too.
Thanks.
I loved your tastings of the Dome this year through the ice sculpture. That was fun.
Yeah, that's it too. We're going to be at the Dome again this year. So if you guys are down at a game, come and see us. You get some free tasters.
Yeah, and the real good trick is they put this they use a Sharpie on your wrist.
Yeah.
As long as you wipe that off right away, it's gone.
Yeah, so you can cut one if you come back. If you just we keep giving you a free sample anyway, so you don't even have to wipe it off.
I feel like a cattle being branded, nope, no more for you. And I'm like, I beat the system. You know, they know damn well who I am when I walk by again. Awesome, man. Well, hey, just like that, an hour is up.
That is crazy.
It flies by, doesn't it?
The person listening, they're probably like, Jesus, when is this over? But for us,
I hope you liked it if you're at home.
I'm totally joking. It was very fun.
Look up Mitch Belot if you want to listen to his awesome music. I'm sure you'll see him in the city. We're going to have you back, I'm going to say like a month into the season as a guest with Michela and I here. And I want to see.
Musical guest?
We don't need to do that, but I just, if you want, I just wanted to come back and talk about the Flame season so far.
Cool.
See your early thoughts.
Love it.
Get a little bit of analysis in there. We don't go heavy analysis on the show. There's enough. The Barn Burner does that all day long.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll check in with some of the harder fans and see how we're feeling about the season.
Cool. This is a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me guest host today. Thanks to Michela for going to Beyonce so I can be here.
Thanks, Michela. I hope she's having a lot of fun. All the single ladies.
All the single ladies.
Put your hands up. We can't play it because then it'd be copyright infringement. But yeah, thank you so much, buddy. For you, the listener, you know what to do. Like us on all the socials. Give Mitch a follow too if you don't already. We'll be back with our regular scheduled programming. Now holidays are over. The summer's over. Hockey season's here. We'll see you again next Wednesday.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.